Hey guys, how are y'all doing today? Yes, I've got my nice blazer on today, so let's get down to business. So Hollywood, it's known for its glamorous movie stars and for being the mecca of the American film industry. But how did the Hollywood that we know of today come to be? Well, don't worry, I'm going to tell you. Alright, so let's go way back in time, shall we? In 1887, Harvey Wilcox bought a piece of land in Southern California and named it Hollywood. He had no idea that within a few years, this spot would be the movie center of the world. The first motion picture was invented in 1885 by George Eastman and William H. Walker. Shortly thereafter, various filmmakers from around the world were inventing their own cameras and experimenting. For example, the brothers Auguste and Louis Lumiere created a hand-cranked machine called the cinematograph and made several films documenting daily life in the late 19th century. By the time the 1900s came around, great advancements had been made for motion picture technology. Exploration into editing, backdrops, and camera movements motivated aspiring filmmakers to push their creativity. Around 1905, Nickelodeons, or 5-cent movie theaters, began to offer an easy and inexpensive way for the public to see movies. Nickelodeons helped increase the public appeal of film and generate more money for filmmakers. Some of the biggest names in the film business got their start as proprietors, investors, distributors, or exhibitors in Nickelodeons. They were also used to screen World War I propaganda. In 1910, W.D. Griffith's In Old California was the first movie to be filmed in the village of Hollywood. In 1911, the first movie studio appeared on Sunset Boulevard, and by 1915, a lot of major motion picture companies had relocated to Hollywood from the East Coast. Hollywood was the ideal place to produce movies since filmmakers couldn't be sued there by Thomas Edison for motion picture patent infringement, and it also had really nice sunny weather and a diverse terrain perfect for movie backdrops. By the end of the 1910s, Hollywood became the go-to place for the booming film industry in America. Studios began to form when entertainment companies became large enough to create their own production facilities that included offices, sound stages, and editing rooms. Many of the early film companies were vertically integrated, bringing together all the steps in filmmaking to maximize profits. The earliest studios owned 3 tiers of the entire system: the company, the marketing, and the exhibition company. At first, the goal of the earliest studios was to produce as many films as possible, regardless of quality. Other independent film entrepreneurs included Warner Brothers, Adolph Zukor, Marcus Loew, Jesse Lasky, Samuel Goldwyn, and Louis B. Mayer. These entrepreneurs later founded the Big 5 major movie studios: Warner Brothers, Paramount, RKO, MGM, and Fox, and the 3 little studios: Universal, United Artists, and Columbia. Film producer Carl Laemmle was responsible for creating the star system. In the earliest productions, actors' identities were kept anonymous in order to give preference to the films themselves. They also wanted actors to remain nameless so they didn't start overvaluing themselves, demanding higher salaries, and becoming too powerful. Carl Laemmle also created the first female movie star, Florence Lawrence, who was involved in the first publicity stunt. In 1910, Laemmle generated a massive publicity campaign for Lawrence by reacting to a false story about how she had been killed in a streetcar accident. When enough sympathy had been produced from the story, he revealed the cowardly, silly lie in a promotional ad. The ad announced that Flo Lo was never in a streetcar accident and was in the best of health. This was the first major movie industry publicity stunt to receive widespread coverage. Laemmle increased her salary and she became the first player to receive screen credit, revealed in the film The Broken Oath. One of the biggest movie stars of the silent era was Mary Pickford. Mary Pickford had been known as America's sweetheart. She was a child star that later became one of the most influential figures in Hollywood, and in 1916, she was the first starlet to become a millionaire. When she married another big star, Douglas Fairbanks Sr., they became Hollywood's first ever power couple. Their wedding in 1920 was a major cultural event, and as a wedding present, they were given a 22-room mansion called Pickford, a combination of their names. Sound familiar? It was located in the agricultural area of Beverly Hills, marking the start of the movement of stars to lavish homes in the suburbs of West Hollywood and making them Hollywood royalty. By the 1930s, the movie industry was one of the largest businesses in the United States, and it was at the height of Hollywood's golden age. Even through the Great Depression, movies were an escape for many people, and it's estimated that up to 80 million Americans went to the movies each week. Unlike today, during the studio era, directors, actors, and producers, etc., were kept on salaries at different studios, each studio having their own staff. The studios also owned hundreds of theaters throughout America that only showed their own films. It was also at this time that affairs, abuses, and scandals were synonymous with Hollywood, and it was labeled as the most sinful city. To counteract this, Will Hayes introduced the Production Code, which was enforced in 1934, as a guideline for films concerning sex, violence, and religion. Although they were able to make the movies clean, the scandals in Hollywood still continued. They were just a little more hush-hush about them. But not all movie stars were terrible people. Many established movie stars enlisted in the armed forces, such as Clark Gable, Henry Fonda, and Jimmy Stewart. Hollywood actresses such as Rita Hayworth, Betty Grable, and Lana Turner also helped the war effort by becoming pinups for love-starved GIs. And most Hollywood stars used their fame to help sell millions of war bonds. In 1948, the Supreme Court ruled that movie studios couldn't own theaters that only showed their films anymore. This was the beginning of the end of the golden age of Hollywood. The ruling forced the Big Five to sell their movie theaters and become more selective about the films they produced. It was mandated that the production and the distribution of the film industry had to be separated. By the end of the 1940s, Hollywood found itself with many obstacles, such as the rise of television, which meant more potential moviegoers would stay at home, blacklisting and McCarthyism, a 1945 studio labor union strike, inflation that raised film production costs, and the antitrust rulings by the Supreme Court against the studios. Now that the studios would have to sell by film and theater-by-theater basis, box office success would be based on the quality of their films and not the strength of their marketplace. Now they were going into an era of competition, free agent actors, and auteur directors, and many of them were forced to sell rights to their pre-1948 films to television to boost profits. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know if you want me to make a part 2 from 1952 today, or if you want me to go more into detail about the old movie studios and the abuses that happened, or some of the scandals. Let me know if you want to hear about that. And also just let me know your thoughts about this video. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Give me some of your criticisms. I'd really like to hear back from you guys. Also, if you have a film related topic that you want me to cover, please let me know. I'm so open to anybody's idea. Also, if you really did enjoy this video, why don't you give it a thumbs up? That would be awesome. And if you really like my content, well, why don't you just subscribe? That would be awesome. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.